They are everywhere, all over the place, all over town, running around like crazy, causing chaos. Hey y'all, it's Matt with Living in Braunfels, Texas, and the New Home Realty Group. Today we're going to talk about, we've talked about why you should move here, why I love living here. We've talked about all this stuff before. Today we're going to talk about why you might not want to live here. All right. It's my job to give you all the insight about living in New Braunfels, Texas, correct? So what's great about it? It's what's not so great about it. What it's like to live, work, and play here. So today it's going to be a little bit, of the maybe downside that you might see, and why you might not want to live here, because I'm here to educate you. I'm just trying to provide you value. You're in a search right now. You're wondering if living in New Braunfels, Texas is going to be right for you. So I just want to be upfront and honest and give you all the feedback that I've got. Everything that I've learned in the 15 plus years that I've lived here. All right. So if you might not know, if you're kind of new to the channel, I'm a realtor here in New Braunfels. I've been a realtor here my 9th year, but I moved here back in 2009 when I started with the New Braunfels Police Department. So a little bit unlike, most of the other realtors out there, I know the city intimately. The city used to pay me, some good money to drive around aimlessly for, 10 to 12 hours a night. And I got to know the city very well. So I'm not like somebody who's just moved here and, from somewhere else just a few years ago and just putting out some information and whatever. These are my experiences and my stories from, living and working here, being a police officer here, raising a family here. So consider me your subject matter expert. Okay. Anyway, that's me in a nutshell. I started this channel back in 2020, at the height of lockdowns. And, there have been a lot of others that make videos about New Braunfels, but again, they might not be from here originally. A lot of them don't even live here. I've seen some of these other channels. They're from San Antonio and they just want to come over here and grab some market share of New Braunfels. But they don't know it. They don't know it like I do. So if you're thinking about moving here, make sure you give me a call, a text, an email. All that contact information is down below. All right, let's get started about why you might not want to live in New Braunfels, Texas. Okay, the first thing that we're going to talk about is, and honestly, don't let this offend you. You might have started out as one of these and now you want to move here, right? But it's going to be for tourists. We do get a lot of tourists in New Braunfels, especially in the summer. So in the summer, we've got Green, which is our historic district. It's not a town, all right? It's not a city. Like I just saw an article the other day where it's like, oh, it's one of the cutest towns in Texas. It's not, okay? Technically speaking, it's not a town in Texas. If you live in Green, you have a New Braunfels address. It's a historic district. I don't know. Maybe that's just my pet peeve. Maybe I should just let that go. Anyway, Green itself gets well over 1 million visitors a year. Okay. We like going. So my wife and I like to go down there. We like to take the kids down there sometimes. We like to go to Green Market Days or just kind of walk around, go see it at Christmas time. But so do a lot of other people. And they come in from all over the place because we have Green Hall there, which is the oldest dance hall in Texas. It's beautiful. It's quaint. It's walkable, the whole thing. We've got a huge parking lot where they're adding, I think, like 800 more spaces right now. But anyway, I mean, just Green itself gets over 1 million, well over 1 million visitors a year. Right below at the foothills, if you want to call it Green, is the Guadalupe River. And so it leads me into this. We have 2 recreational rivers here in New Braunfels. We got the Guadalupe right there, and then we also have the Canal. Starting with the Guadalupe, people will go down right there and float the river through town, or they start up River Road, they float down River Road, and they end up in Green. As far as the Canal, a lot of people come around here and then they go and float the Canal on the weekends, and they come in from all over. Most of the locals, here's a local secret, locals don't really float during the weekends. We like to go during the week when it's not so crazy. But yeah, folks come from San Antonio, Austin, all over the state, all over the country to come and float the rivers. And it gets packed, it gets busy. So I don't know what the numbers look like now. I left the New Braunfels Police Department back in 2018 to do this full time. Man, going on a while. So I was New Braunfels PD for 9 years, and then for the last 6.5, I've been with another agency who's held my commission, but as a reserve status. But we were, in my early couple of years, we were around 50,000 people was our population. And the population would just about double on a summer weekend when people came to float the river, go to Schlitterbahn, and visit Green. Hopefully it doesn't double now, because now we're just a little over 100,000. So I can't imagine that we get another 100,000 visitors, but you can still expect, quite a few visitors that come in on the weekends to float the river, visit Green, and go to Schlitterbahn. So Schlitterbahn is a water park here in town. It's one of the best and largest in the U.S. It's been around for a very long time. It's voted always number one or one of the top ones, in the U.S. So a lot of families come to float that or go to it, during the week and on the weekends during the summer. But you can bet between Memorial Day and Labor Day, you're going to have tons of tourists here in town. And they tend to drink, especially on the rivers. They act kind of stupid and it's very annoying. So just keep that in mind. If that's something you don't want to deal with, you might want to consider somewhere else. I'm not trying to push away business and like, hey, don't call me or anything like that, but I just want to give you all the details about it. It's just very it's something you've got to put up with. If you've watched it, you've visited here before as a tourist, and now you're like, oh, I love this place, I think it's beautiful, let's look into it a little bit, then that was one of you, okay? And now you want to make it your home, and you might have a little bit different outlook on it once you move here. So just keep that in mind. We are a tourist town. The downtown area gets some folks there too. We got a couple of new bars that just opened. Can't remember the new one, Cadillacs and something or whatever. I don't know. It's been under construction for like a few years. And then Randy Rogers, the singer, he just opened one called Lost and Found next to Muck and Fuss in the downtown area. So it does get busy, and expect an influx of people on the weekends because we're such a cool town. All right, the next thing I'll talk about, because so many tourists come here to visit and they fall in love with it, they decide moving here. So we've had a lot of growth. Like I said, back in the 2010 census, I remember us being just over 50,000 people. I think we hit like 51 or 53,000, something like that. Now we're over 100,000. So just in the last 15 years, less than 15 years, we've doubled in size. And the city has tried to keep up, all right? They keep widening roads and putting in new ones and lights and this and that and the other all over the place. But we have had a lot of growth. Doubling in size in 15 years for a city that was founded in 1845, to double in size in 15 years, that's a lot. And maybe I'm guilty of it because I have this channel, right? And I've attracted people to come and move to New Braunfels because people have called me and I've helped them find houses here. But just know we've had a lot of growth. Still going through some growing pains. With that growth comes a little bit more traffic. I touch on the traffic because for somebody who's been here for so long, so I've been in New Braunfels since like 2009, but I lived in San Antonio for 10 years before that. So I've been in this area for well over 25 years. That's more than half my life. Wow. Okay. And I've seen the growth. Okay. I've seen how the traffic has changed. Some of the traffic patterns have changed. There's just more now. It might take a little bit longer to get through a light during the busy times. It's not horrible, okay? Don't get me wrong. It's nothing like you're going to find in San Antonio. It's nothing like you're going to find, especially in Austin. But in larger cities that have population of over 1 million, but people do complain about the traffic. That's one of the things you might find comments on here or one of the other videos that I did, that there's so much traffic. It's just gotten worse. It's still not horrible compared to other cities, okay? Let me remind you of that. But just know that with our growth has, come more traffic. Some of the farmland that we've had around here that were just outside the city limits and everything has disappeared because more neighborhoods have gone in. With that growth, we also have a lot more water usage. So we've been getting more water restrictions around here. I think right now we're on like stage 4. You like this new accessory? Anyway, I think we're on like stage 4 now for like no outdoor water use at all. Luckily, it's February, we're into winter and all the grass is dormant, so we don't have to necessarily water our grass. We did have some good rain yesterday and last night, but with more growth has come with that too is more water usage, and so there's been more restrictions. At one point in one neighborhood, NBU is taking a long time to get these people water meters. So they're trying to move into their houses and they can't because they don't have a water meter yet. So again, we've had some growing pains, especially with so much growth. These home builders are coming in and they buy up this old family farmland and they drop a development in it, which is needed because so many people are moving here, but it's also eating up, just that farmland that makes it look like a smaller town and nice and quaint. Okay. You can drive almost anywhere in these finger roads that go outside of New Braunfels, whether it's going to be FM 1044 or Highway 46 between here and Seguin, up FM 306, just wherever, and you're going to find another neighborhood. Just expect that. But you know what? If you want to move here, that's what you can expect is the growth. Okay. People just love it here and they move here. So what can you do about it? All right, with that growth and with that demand, the home prices aren't what they used to be. That's kind of everywhere though. So I had some folks, Stephen and Christina, that moved here from California. If y'all are still watching, hey guys, you know, if y'all need any family members for me to take care of, let me know. But they moved here at the end of 2020, bought a house that was around 3,000 square feet or so. And I think it was just under $300,000. And that thing would be well over $300,000 now. It used to be more affordable, okay? But, you know, COVID happened. Home prices shot up because there was such a, there was a deficit of homes. We didn't have enough and we had a huge demand. So home prices kept going up, right? And it was, I had to do this too. So there weren't enough homes on the market to buy because nobody was moving. But a lot of other people, like a lot of people weren't selling, but you still had people that were coming in, okay, and wanting to buy homes. So you're having to put multiple offers on home, which drives up the price. They were paying the extra money. We had to do that too, because in March of 21, we had a house fire. We bought that house in July of 2020. Got a great deal on it, right? And it was in the 340s as a Perry home. And in March of 21, it caught fire, no fault of Perry's, but it was a total loss. Now that home would be closer to 500,000. But we had to turn around and buy another house in July of 21, and we had to pay $30,000 above asking price. So it jacked up, you know, the price of stuff. It jacked up the comps, because the comps, what we look at whenever we're looking to sell a house or something, is the sold price on a house, you know, and similar in size and bedrooms and everything. So the prices, some of them have had a small correction, but I don't anticipate them going back down to what we were looking at like back in 2020. You know, I don't expect that $500,000 house to go back to 340,000. So don't hold your breath on that. Don't expect a crash. Okay. That's what that crash was about. But yeah, so with the home prices being higher than what they were a few years ago, but that, like I said, that's kind of everywhere. And also interest rates being higher, then it costs more to buy a house. And that's just kind of the crappy part of it, right? The other side of that though, is if you are looking to buy here, so maybe you are a first time home buyer, or, you know, you want to just have like a lower mortgage payment, a lot of new home builders. And so, you know, plus, and, you know, we got pros and cons, right? So we've got a lot of builders that are coming in and building a bunch of houses, but you also have companies that like D.R. Horton that just down on 1044 are building Winding Creek, you know, a big community out there that's going to have about 1,200 homes, what used to be ranch land and farmland. They're putting in a whole bunch of houses, right? Well, big companies like that, they can afford to offer lower interest rates. So I've got some clients that have gotten, 3.99% interest rates, like 4.49. So, you know, 4%, 4.5% interest rates whenever they're way over 6% right now. So they've gotten, you know, those prices that, and those payments that are closer to, you know, just under $1,000, just over, or I'm sorry, correction, just under $2,000, just over $2,000, depending on the price of the home, depending on the interest rate. But some of these other builders are offering that. They're offering, you know, just a flat rate like D.R. Horton is. If that interests you, let me know. You know, we'll go over there and I'll put you in touch with them. But so they can afford to do that. Okay. Even though the prices are going to be higher than what you're used to paying, the prices, you know, the interest rates are high right now. They can offer that lower interest rate that gives you a lower payment. So keep that in mind. But it isn't as affordable as what it was, but it's still more affordable than other places such as like Austin, or even especially California. California, it's still nuts out there. People are paying so much money for homes, and that's why so many people from California are moving to Texas and moving to Braunfels, Texas. All right, another thing to consider. So not too long ago, we had some folks that moved here from, I believe, Seattle, Washington, or Oregon. I honestly don't remember right now. But anyway, they moved up here from the Pacific Northwest. They loved it. They wanted to be in Texas. They moved down here. They bought a very nice house. And they lasted about a year, and they just said it's just too damn hot. New Braunfels, Texas is too hot. We can't take it. We're moving back. And it does get hot here. Okay. There have been times where we have 30 plus days over 100 degrees during the summer. We don't have as much humidity as we're going to like close to the coast, but we still have humidity. All right. This isn't a dry heat. It's not like it's Arizona. But yeah, it gets hot here. All right. Just keep that in mind. This is Texas, and we're not like the Panhandle or anything like that where it's a little bit more mild. But you know, we're only about 2.5 hours from the coast. So if there is like a hurricane, then you know we'll usually get some. We definitely get some wind, like Hurricane Harvey. We got a lot of wind. A little bit of rain, not as much. We didn't like. I was still with the police department back then, and we went all hands on deck. We thought we were going to have flooding. You know, we had like our life jackets, you know, prepared and ready, and our throw ropes just in case we had to do some rescues. We didn't have any flooding. There was nothing. Mostly wind damage. The things that we dealt with the most were down power lines and porta potties from construction sites that were blown into the road. So we lucked out there, but we've had flooding before. Now the flooding normally happens around the river areas. So you know, unless you're wanting to buy, you know, some land on the river or a house on the river, you should be okay. But you know, we will get some rain when we're not in a drought. We will get some flooding around the river areas, and it does get freaking hot. So we had a spell not long ago where we got below freezing. Everything was okay. We never lost power or anything. We did lose some power back in 2021 during what we call Snowvid, because it was around this time in 21, February. And it was like several days below freezing and snow, and it was people were losing power and rolling blackouts and whatever it was. That's very 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 rare, so don't worry about that. But other than like the mild winters, like it's February right now, right? We're middle of February, like this is Valentine's Day, and I'm wearing shorts and flip-flops. I think we're gonna have a high in the 70s today, so it'll get mild, it'll get cold, but in the summer it'll get hot. Just keep that in mind. New Braunfels, Texas does get hot. If you don't like the heat, stay out of the kitchen, stay out of New Braunfels. Okay. If you don't mind it, then come on, give me a call. Okay, one of the questions I get is I get it in several ways. Are there a bunch of Trump fans in New Braunfels? You know, is it MAGA over there? Whatever. However they want to put it, whenever they ask that question, I already know which way they're going. But we are very conservative around here. You know, we still have conservative beliefs, conservative leadership around here. So if you look at a map of Texas, you know, Austin, a little blue dot surrounded by red. San Antonio, little blue dot surrounded by red. Okay? Austin, San Antonio, they have a crap load of problems, right? We still have, you know, conservative leadership here within our local governments, and a lot of conservative people here. I'll just tell you that, all right? That's what it is. Are they like chest beating, you know, whatever, and just kind of crazy MAGA and stuff like that, like you're thinking? No, all right? No. You know what? We have common sense, we have our values, but we also have tolerance for other people. Okay, there are people that lean left over here. All right, there's plenty of Democrats. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets along. You know, nobody's like bickering at each other. I've seen political signs get stolen, you know, during election time, but it's usually the red signs that are getting stolen. But you know, everybody gets along for the most part. It's not very divided or anything. It's just, you know, the kind of love your neighbor, love thy neighbor here. But just know that yes, it is conservative here. If you want something that's a little bit more left-leaning or far left-leaning, then maybe Austin, possibly San Antonio, but Austin might be your choice. Like Austin's one of my least favorite California cities. But even then, there's been a shift. So there's been more of a conservative movement in Texas than there has been in the last like 4 to 8 years. So, but yes, just the answer is New Braunfels conservative. Yes, it is. In the short answer, that's it. All right, guys, if you've gotten through that and you still want to move to New Braunfels, Texas, contact me. Give me a call, shoot me an email, send me a text. All that contact information is down below. I've helped dozens of families make New Braunfels their home. Even before I've had this channel, I've helped dozens of families make New Braunfels their home, and you could be the next one. So if you're considering it, if you have any questions, like I said, best way to reach me is text message or email. That contact information is down in the description below. Get a hold of me. I can help you out like we've helped dozens of others. Until next time, y'all take care. We'll see you in the next video.